What's up, everybody? How are you guys doing? Welcome to J Rich Fit's Lifestyle and Health Coaching Corner. We're on episode 42, and today's topic is relationships. So we're going to go relationships, the good, the bad, and the ugly. This would be a three-parter because there's a lot to cover. So the first part of relationships, the good, the bad, and the ugly, let's start negative and finish positive. The whole topic of the day is going to be the bad. This is part one, the bad. My thought on it, so bad relationships seem to last forever for a lot of people, and they seem to cycle back to that bad relationship. Everybody gets used to comfort in their relationship, no matter if it's a good relationship or a bad relationship, and when you break up, you do tend to get back together, break up again, get back together, but I feel like bad relationships do this tenfold. You guys will get back together and break up 10 to 20 times. And you always remember the good times when you get back together. But then the bad times, which is 80% of the time, lean on you to break up. There's a lot of things that we're going to go over. And the first one is, what makes a bad relationship? The first thing I can think of is lack of communication. Communication is huge in a relationship. And if you have lack thereof, you're probably starting 2 steps behind. And lack of communication leads to major problems. If you can't talk to each other about simple things, you're for sure not going to be able to talk to each other about humongous things that are possibly bothering you or happening in your life, either together or individually. And it just shows a lack of respect for one another. How could you not just, hey, I'm gonna be out with the guys an extra hour, or hey, we were here but now we're gonna be here, or hey, I'm out with the ladies and dinner's just finished but we're gonna go get some drinks. These are simple things that tell your significant other so they don't feel so stressed about, oh, well, you said you were gonna be here at 8 o'clock and it's 9 o'clock and I haven't heard from you yet, because people's minds tend to wander. When you cannot communicate, something else has to kick in. And what the thing that does kick in is the worry and the wandering of the mind, which makes people think that you're either cheating on them or you don't want to be around them. And it's a list of different things that go into somebody's brain. If you can communicate with them, all these things tend to go away. If you cannot communicate with them well, that's the add to the horrible relationship, is their brain is now creating these different stories that are not really happening, but then you're not doing anything to negate the creation in their brain. So if you can't communicate, you're already starting so far back in your relationship. And it really leans on to deeper issues within yourself. If I cannot communicate with my significant other, that just means my communication skills have been horrible my whole life. Family, friends, they all stem from different reasons. It could be your parents aren't great communicators and you weren't taught how to communicate well, so then you're not a good communicator. You could just have mental issues where communication just isn't your thing. You're not thinking of other people, you're only thinking about yourself. There's a whole list of reasons why you can't do it, but what you need to do is tackle these. A lot of people tend to run away or push away from their partner trying to help them out, but if you know that you have communication issues, the way to be a fucking adult is to work on them and take your ego away and realize, hey, I have an issue. I need to get rid of this issue. I need to better myself. And the way that you do that is by reading books, getting a therapist, speaking out loud to your friends, to your family, trying to figure out where this problem stems from and how you can get through it. If you can't do that, you will never have a good relationship. No matter, people tend to jump in and out of relationships with different people thinking that they're going to find somebody that can help them out. Nobody's going to be able to help you out. Only you can help yourself out when you know that you have a major problem that stems from your childhood or is a mental block that you have that you're just born with. if you don't find help for yourself, you'll never help your relationship. And you'll always be looking for somebody else, or you'll always blame somebody else for why your communication is so shitty. So yeah, fixing communication and is number one when it comes to a bad relationship. Is you gotta find a way to change. You gotta find a way to move past it. What kind of respect does it show when you can't have communication? Zero respect. You don't respect yourself. You don't respect your partner. It shows that you just have lack of respect. And when you have lack of respect in your relationship, you do other things. It's like a gateway drug almost. Lack of communication. It gets you down this rabbit hole into a whole list of other problems. So if you can't tackle communication right away, bad things are gonna end up coming down the line. And what does it say about you? That you don't give a fuck. Like I said earlier, you could give a fuck. This is your world. You're very locked into nobody owns you. You don't need to check in with anybody. Your significant other isn't your mom or your dad. And you have this huge ego that has you thinking all these things. When for them, they just want respect, or they just are worried about you and want to make sure you're safe. And you're taking it to the 10th degree to where you think they're trying to control you. It's not about control. It's just about respect. And I think that it speaks volumes on you that, especially nowadays, at least back in the day, you had to go get a carrier pigeon and write, "Hey babe, I'm okay," stamp it to the ankle and fucking throw it and hopefully it gets there. Or even more recent, you had to go to a payphone, put 75 cents in, 50 cents in, make a phone call when you could find a payphone. Nowadays, you have a cell phone that can do everything. You get text message, you get FaceTime, you get email, all within the reach of your phone. So for you to say, I forgot, or for you to say, I wasn't thinking about that, it's just a very lazy excuse, and it shows that you're a lazy fucking individual that shouldn't be in the relationship. Stop wasting this person's time. Let them go find a better person, because you obviously are a piece of shit that can't help them out at all. Simple ways to fix this. Like I just said, check in. And it doesn't have to be, there's an issue. If somebody needs you, and don't get me wrong for the other person, if somebody needs you to check in constantly, then the problem isn't you, it is them. If you're very much so on top of it where you're kind of keeping them in the loop, but you're not checking in every fucking 10 minutes or 5 minutes or whatever the hell, then you're on a good tip. If they need you to do that, then that's a different issue. You gotta get rid of them. But checking in every once in a while, right before they're about to go to sleep, or if you go from one place to another place, simple check-ins help ease the mind. Being honest. Say where you really are. Be where you're really supposed to be. And if you keep it very honest, people build trust, and trust is the biggest positive step in a relationship. Put your ego away. Like I was just saying earlier, don't think that this person's trying to control you. You control how much information you want to put out there. Where it's like, if you decide to check in every 5 minutes, that's you checking in every 5 minutes. That's you not putting your foot down and explaining to your significant other that you're not going to check in every fucking 5 minutes. That's just going to ruin your night. But I will check in X amount of times, or I will check in just to let you know where I'm at. And that should be absolutely fine. Putting your fucking ego aside. And then showing respect. You respect this person that you're with. You love this person that you're with. So just give that to them. It's not that big of a deal to shoot a text and be like, "Hey, babe, we're over here now." Or, "Hey, I know you're probably about to go to sleep. Have a good night. I'll be home hopefully X amount of time." And fellas, make sure you use that. I'm going to be home hopefully at 1 or 2 o'clock. Don't say exactly at 2, because women will hold you to that exact. So don't use the exact 2 o'clock, just hopefully. And then if it goes past 2 o'clock, shoot a text message here and there, where you are, what's going on, etc., etc. Then this next one is a very touchy one when it comes to what bad relationships look like. Number 2 is verbal and physical abuse. Lack of communication is very big. But this next one, it's hard to come back from. If you are somebody that's verbally or physically abusive, there are very deep problems. There are very emotional and mental issues. And you should not be in any type of relationship. If you're physically or verbally abusive, you need to be by yourself and you need to figure yourself out. You do not need to drag another human being down with you and put your shit on top of them. Because this is I hate seeing this because usually it's a very good person with a very horrible person. And it could be man or woman that is physically or verbally abusive. And most of the time, the people that end up being with them or people that want to save them or people that like the abuse underlined. And that's how they grow. If you're somebody that likes the abuse or you're somebody that constantly wants to save somebody but you're doing it in a very soft way, a physically or verbally abusive person, it's fuel to the fire. They'll just eat it. They'll eat you. They'll eat everything around you. And they like the control because that's all it is they lost control somewhere in their life, in their childhood, in their job, in whatever arena they're in. And their way of getting that control back is by demoralizing or beating you into submission. It shows a very lack of strength when this person really makes me sick. Because I'm somebody that is very physically equipped when it comes to my strength and my fighting skill. And to sit there and think that I'd ever want to use that in a horrible way towards anybody I love, it makes my stomach hurt. And to know that there's people out there that don't give a shit about the people that they are supposedly care about or love and will hit them or yell at them or curse at them, it makes me sick and it makes me want to get a hold of them. And then, why are people like this? First one is low mental comprehension. A lot of stupid, there's a lot of smart people out there too, but I feel like a lot of stupid people revert to violence and they revert to abuse and everything like that. And it's a dumb man's way of feeling powerful. There's so many smart ways that you could feel powerful and you could have confidence. And the stupidest way is breaking somebody else down. If you need to yell or you need to hit somebody for you to feel strong, then you're a big old fucking pussy. And I'd love for you to go outside and meet somebody with your same strength or with your same mentality and see exactly what happens, especially a calmer person like myself. Because I can't stand people that like to swing their weight around and think that because they're big and buff and loud, that's going to save them. Because more often than not, you're going to find somebody strong, quiet, and humble that'll beat the fucking shit out of you. So yeah, I think low mental comprehension is huge. There are smart people, like I said, don't get me twisted. There are a lot of smart dickheads out there, but if you notice, they all lack something. If you're a smart, verbally abusive, or physically abusive person, you're probably a lot weaker when it comes to your physical strength. If you're a really strong guy that's physically or verbally abusive, your mental capacity is probably really limited. So they're always missing something. You're not going to find the overall package that ends up being verbally and physically abusive. It's more somebody is lacking something somewhere. And that's their kryptonite. Is they're lacking something in some arena, physically, mentally, emotionally. And because they can't express that and they don't know how to express that, they use violence in either category, verbal, physical. So that's a huge one. It's low mental capacity. Jealousy. Men and women alike can be very jealous, and that turns instantly to verbal or physical abuse because it's an emotion they can't control. Jealousy will make you do a lot of crazy things. If you watch all these shows on TV, people will get murdered all the time just because their counterpart is extremely jealous. Don't ever allow somebody's jealousy to slow you down or dim your star, because that's on them. You're just living. If they're jealous of you living, that means they're missing something in their own life that makes them mad at you, and you can't control that shit. I tell everybody, don't worry about somebody else being jealous, because that just means that they're insecure. You are very secure. You're not even paying attention to their jealousy, and you're just living. And I think that that happens a lot in relationships. One person over the other person is a little more confident, naturally has X amount of these skills that the other one doesn't have, and unknowingly, your other half gets really jealous. They don't know how to use their words, so they don't ever express it to you. They don't know how to grow themselves. So what they do is they get jealous and use you as the target. And that's why they get snappy, or that's why they talk shit, or that's why they try to hit you, or stuff like that. So jealousy is huge. If you are in a relationship where you feel like your other half is jealous, fucking run. How the fuck are you still in this relationship? You cannot fix that. There's nothing that you can do. Actually, you're the reason why. Like, you're just gonna make them more and more mad because you're yourself. And I always tell people, don't flip and don't be somebody else because their dim light fucking ass can't handle you. You need to run and keep running because there's nothing that you're gonna be able to do. You make them mad and they're mentally sick. Get the fuck out of there. Jealousy, yeah, is bad. Don't ever be jealous of your significant other. You should always be happy for them. Whatever they're doing, if it's a positive way, be happy. Don't be jealous. If you do this, in my opinion, you're a fucking pussy. And that goes for men and women. If you're somebody that is physically abusive and jealous and nasty, you're a fucking pussy. And I hope that somebody that's a pussy is listening to this, or I hope that the person that is the opposite of them in this relationship, that is the confident, regular, fun person, hears this and goes, oh shit, that sounds like my relationship. Use these words and use them well. Fucking run and go find somebody your speed, because this weight is going to slow you down, and every day you allow it to slow you down, that's another opportunity missed. If something is slowing you down, fast usually gets the gold, and fast usually gets the first opportunity. Slow tends to miss a lot of opportunities, and nobody remembers the slow ones. So don't allow them to slow you down. These fucking pussies and these pieces of shit that want to dim you don't deserve you. So get them the fuck out of here. And then on the funnier side of things, it always screams to me that if you're somebody that's physically or verbally abusive or jealous of your counterpart, you either got a shrimp dick or you got fucking a deep holed, flabby bat wing pussy. And that's really the biggest break it all the way down. If you're having fun sex and you're enjoying each other and things are just going amazing, then there's no jealousy, you're fine. But if you are born with a little micro dick, or if you're born with a hot dog in a hallway pussy, then you're always going to be jealous. You're always going to be worried about your other half finding somebody better than you, because you know that you're not a fully confident person. You're not going to be able to handle what life throws at you, because you already started 5 fucking steps back with that shrimp dick or that cavern pussy. So I think that's always a huge one too. There's always some physical flaw that becomes a mental flaw that they project out to everybody else. But if you are completely confident and you're enjoying life, then you'll be absolutely fine. And if you're listening to this and that shit hits you right there, that's how your counterpart is, you'll never fix it. I tell people all the time, in relationships, take whatever their flaw is now, and then when you keep furthering that relationship, or if you get married or have kids, times that flaw by 10. Because right now is a honeymoon stage. No matter where you're at. If you're not married, if you don't have kids, it's all a honeymoon stage right now. Whatever their flaw is, that you're like, ooh, I don't really like that, but I think it's fixable. Times that shit by 10 once y'all get married. Because that's exactly how it's going to be. Because they're going to be fully, they think they got you. They think that you can't go anywhere now because we have a kid or we're married. And by that time, you'll be fucked. So take that flaw. If it's a flaw that you can handle, roll with it. If it's a flaw you cannot handle, times it by 10, and get the fuck out of there. And then, like I said, too, I don't want to take too much time on this, but it screams to me that these people can't fight either. They know that they got hold of you and they're going to do that, but in overall, they can't fucking fight, and they just like to pick on weaker people. If they went outside, they would get the shit kicked out of them, or they do get the shit kicked out of them, so their way of unleashing that is by throwing it back onto you. I hope you are listening, and I hope you do get out of this type of relationship because physical verbal abuse is horrible. And then number three, the third worst thing when it comes to a bad relationship is boredom. We tend to get bored. Men, let's go for men first. Men tend to get bored quick and short term quick. So what I mean by that is we're hunter gatherers. Naturally, men are hunter gatherers. So we love the chase. We love the hunt. We love maybe not being the guy that gets the girl. And then when we do get her, oh shit, like I'm the man now. It helps boost our ego. But then once we have it, especially when you're a younger man, you don't really know what to do with it. You think you want a relationship, then you get into one, and you're like, I'm still in my young 20s. I want to go party. I want to go with the guys. I want to go to the club, all that shit. So we don't really know how to be while in the relationship. Women get bored later in life. So for men, we could eat at the same 5 restaurants the rest of our life and enjoy it all day, every day. Just rotating those same 5 restaurants. Women want to try every restaurant in the world. Good, bad, whatever. If it's new, they want to try it. That is a huge, simple difference when it comes to men and women and boredom. Women get bored later in this sense. In their young 17 to 22, 23 is the exploration stage. That's where you go and you meet men and you're this young flower and you do all these different things, maybe you make some mistakes, and then as that starts going, you become more and more jaded because the society is based on women being flowers and men being these deflowers or whatever the fuck. So by the time you reach 24 to 30, you're looking for Prince Charming. You want your boyfriend, you want your husband, you want the kids, everything like that. So then you get to 30 till 35. You're doing the mother thing, you're raising kids, everything like that. Then that's when boredom kicks in. Is that longevity boredom, because now that man that you decided to be your husband, who was the fixer-upper or the bad boy, is now docile. He's got kids, he's got a wife, he's got a job, he's constantly on it. He's not fun anymore. He's not exciting. You got the kids that are stressing you out. Now you want to, at 35 to 45, 50, you want to break out. You have a new resurgence. Your man's energy's probably diving down. Your energy's diving up. You get bored. You're kind of moving around trying to figure out how life is going to be. So with men and women, our boredoms are at way different avenues. So if I were to say the question is who gets bored fastest? Long-term boredom, women. Because men's sex drives tend to dip. We don't want to hook up anymore because we got the kids and we're hunter-gatherers and now we're dead from hunting and gathering, so we're docile. And with women, they're like, well, fuck, I don't like this. I want all my different restaurants that I want to try. So they're still trying to find it. If you're a man and you can't keep up, guess what? They will find somebody that keeps up with you. So that's the longevity boredom. Men in the beginning are stupid. Like I said, young 20s, they don't know what to do with it. They get it. They don't know what to do. They're still moving around trying to sow their oats while in a relationship, and it never works out that way either. So I would say short-term boredom is men. Long-term boredom is women. And that really does ruin relationships. I think boredom is not good. I think you need to... which way do men build women and which way do women build men? I love this one. And this is one I kind of created on my own. Men tend to build women from the toes up. Meaning, the first thought process is this. When you are a man and you see a good-looking woman that you're attracted to, you go toes to forehead. All you think in your head is, God damn, she's hella fine. I want to fuck. That's the base beginning of men when they meet women. With that, we build. Okay, let's meet. Let's talk a little bit. Let's get freaky. Let's fuck. And then from there, I can build to see if this is somebody I want to be with. Women build from the forehead down. Meaning, they see a man. The first thing they think in their head is, damn, he's hella fine. our babies would look cute, and he would be a man that I'd marry. More often than not. Like I said, ladies, I'm not talking every time, but more often than not, that's where a female mind goes. So you guys go forehead down. The issue with men going toes up is because, or the big issue is, we want to fuck all the time. And then we're trying to fill everything in. We're more control chaos. We're trying to fill in the gaps as we're playing. Women want to hold on to that, not hook up with every dude. So they want to get to know everything about you, see exactly where you're at, and then they accidentally create you into being their boyfriend and putting more pressure on you. So for men, there's no pressure at all fun. Women, there's a little bit more pressure, fun, but only fun for a little bit, and then it gets very complicated mentally. So I think that's also a way that boredom can kind of set in, is us as men, we go a million miles an hour, get bored really quick. Women, they go a little slower, get into a relationship, then get bored. And then also, sex is huge. Sex in a relationship is extremely huge. And if you are getting bored sexually, your relationship is going to go into some rocky, hard times. Men, I feel like, same thing. Short-term boredom. Hook up, all that type of shit. Then you get into this rhythm, and it gets into a pattern, and then it's not as spicy and fun. And us as hunter-gatherers, we like spicy, we like fun, we don't like predictable. Women are the same exact way, but women love intimacy. So the more they can get to know you, the more intimate you can get, the more your relationship grows, the more passionate the sex gets for them. Us as men, I always tell people, no matter what you believe in, if it's God, if it's Buddha, if it's whatever, the higher power that you believe in has a great sense of humor. Because us as men, we do everything that we possibly can. Talk freaky, send text messages, send dick pics, all that type of shit. And all we want to do is have sex. Women are a little more reserved. They're a little more held back. But then they do a little bit here and there, and then they meet in the middle. We push for sex so hard and have the hardest time during the act of holding it in and having a good time. You hear a lot of this, wait, give me a second, let me just breathe real quick. Where with women, you start that engine up and there is no stopping once it starts going. And it cracks me up because us as men, we drive that so hard, but then we sometimes bite off more than we can chew. Whereas women, rarely do they bite off more than they can chew when it comes to them talking shit or putting their own foot in their mouth. And more often than not, do they deliver over men. So that part always cracks me up, and that could be a huge thing when it comes to boredom, is if you're a man and you're very selfish during sex, where you just want your own, then the female partner that you have is going to get very bored because they are sexually more driven than us once the sexual act is going on. They can get pleasure more. Us, it's a one pop fucking stop. They can just keep going and going and going and going. So you as a man, you have to pay attention to that. You need to be very spicy, especially the bedroom means the most to women. So you got to be spicy in the bedroom. You can't keep it boring. You got to introduce different things all the time. And ladies, same thing. Listen to what your man is saying the same way he's listening to you. Don't be shy. When you want it, go get it. Go take it. And your relationship is going to get better and better. It'll help the boredom. Sexually, if it's spicy and it's fun, the rest of life being boring is all good. If you flip-flop it, not so good. If your life is very fun and different, you're traveling all the time, but your sex is very vanilla, your relationship is still going to be horrible. So you need to know exactly the rung on which you need to switch it up. Number one, making sure it's not being boring would be sex. Number two would be your traveling life, making sure you're going to all these different places. Number three would be your financial stability. Make sure it's not boring. Make sure when you can make enough money to travel, make enough money to eat. Don't be living the same exact life all day, every day. Because when you do, women fill in gaps. So whatever the fuck you are not as a man, women find more attractive. So for example, if you're handsome, if you're everything physically, muscular, all this good shit, but you're not driven when it comes to finding a job, women will get bored of that really quick. And what they will find more attractive is a man goal-oriented, a man that has money, a man that has a vision. And you could be Mr. Everything on paper, tall, dark, handsome, but if you have that one flaw, women tend to jump on that one flaw and find somebody that is the opposite of that, and they'll be instantly more attractive. So you as a man constantly have to be on your toes. Women, same thing, but not so much on that side. Men don't really feel in. Men are just stupid. Us as men, we're dumb, and we just like hot, and we like all that stuff. So I always tell women, make sure you're taking care of your body, making sure that health is very important, because the hotter you are, especially as a man, we're simple. We like hot, funny, and can brush your fucking teeth. Women, you have a whole list of things. So I told men, I said, men, you gotta be 5 different guys at any given moment, so you constantly keep it spicy and your woman's not bored. If you're the same guy all the time, trust me, she's looking for somebody else. Women, take care of your body and don't nag the shit out of a guy too much. Make sure you're being very reasonable with your demands, and you'll be absolutely fine. If you could do those, your relationship will be okay. If you can't do those and you find yourself in the list of things I talked about earlier, your relationship is doomed. Get out now. Go get some, if it's you or if it's your other half, you go get some help, or make sure they go get some help. But you gotta take care of yourself first, mentally and physically, before you think you can be in any type of relationship. And with that being said, we're at the 30-minute mark. Like I said, I like to make these episodes short, sweet, and to the point. We're going to come back to these. Remember, I said it's the good, the bad, and the ugly. This was the bad. We have version 2 and 3, which is the good and the ugly and all that good shit. So it's going to be funny. So tune in. Thank you guys very much for paying attention. Thank you guys very much for listening. Go outside. Mentally, physically, spiritually. Increase yourself. Don't worry so much about this phone. Don't worry about so much this news. Focus on yourself. If you can get healthier, everybody around you will be healthier. Make sure you're laughing, making sure you're getting a hold of your family while you still can. Tell them that you love them. Have a great fucking day and get the fuck out of here. Peace.